Everybody, welcome to Jamila J Girl Talk. Mind, body, soul, and mind your business. Today, I'm so excited, Chuck. First of all, how you doing? You
Hey, I'm
doing
doing
good?
great. Yes, indeed, doing great. Had a little getting over this little cold or whatever it is, and everything's good on this side. I can't complain. How about yourself?
I'm doing great.
That's
So
awesome.
first of all, I want to thank everybody who participated in the talent show.
Mhm.
And if you did participate, I need a video of you because we're moving forward. Next week, Chuck, I'll let you know we're going to have a meeting in terms of what's required for the mixtape. So we need a video of you, maybe a bio, but whatever you have, that's what we need to move forward. I always like to follow through on things I do.
Right.
So, we had a great couple of, I think it was about 4 shows. Dr. Cheryl, we're talking talent. We have so much talent, and I was excited to expose some of the singers and rappers. And I want to give a shout out to Lele. He, every week he was here with me holding it down. I appreciate that. Tyrone came through, George,
Hmm.
September Rain, Cassie, Izzy's baby. So, it was a really good time.
Yeah.
December 19th was my beloved mother's birthday. So I just think it's when Dr. Cheryl, she texted me and she said, well, let's do a show on the Christmas blues and grief. It's like, well, that's my mom's birthday.
Right.
And December 9th was my dad's birthday. So it's kind of perfect, perfect timing for us. And I just would like to introduce Dr. Cheryl Kirk-Duggan. I
Hmm.
hope I got pronounced everything right.
Hmm.
She is a pastor, a teacher. Dr. Cheryl, tell them about you. She's family, but people who have not seen Dr. Cheryl, just tell them a little bit about yourself. First of all, where were you born and where do you live now?
Good afternoon, and Sister Jamila and Brother Chuck. It's always a blessing to be with you. I wasn't born by a river. No, actually, it's near a lake. Charles, Louisiana, which is in the southwest corner of the state. And it's a lot of the culture is so different from a lot of people know about NOLA and Baton Rouge. They don't really know about Lake Charles, although there was an Air Force base there one time. And my dad was the first African-American deputy sheriff in the state of Louisiana since Reconstruction. He was sworn in July 2nd, 1952, Chuck.
Wow.
Never had to fire his gun in the line of duty. Served 27 years.
Wow.
I'm very proud of that legacy. I'm working on that book and working on funding, and because we want to do a documentary, everything, so people don't know all Popo are not haters.
Right.
And currently I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, in the Research Triangle. You have Chapel Hill, Durham, and Raleigh. And it's I like to see myself as a citizen of the universe. I love, laugh, and light is just really cool.
Yeah. It's always a joy to have you on. I mean, every time you come on, well, I don't know if it's a Reverend, Doctor. You got so many titles, but I said, say Reverend Cheryl, you know, it's always a pleasure to have you on. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. And in honor of this event, I've got a poem that I'd like to share that my muse pops up when she wills. So she popped up this morning just in time because holidays are challenging. And there are a lot of people who are going through first anniversaries, the first Hanukkah, the first Christmas, the first Ramadan without a loved one, and their first birthdays. Jamila, you were talking about your parents' birthdays. And my late husband's birthday was December 15th. And until we get in a place where we can process that stuff, I mean, it can knock us off our shoes. It can stay, you wake up in the morning, feel like something on your chest that you can't move. And that's real. And I invite everybody to honor those feelings. We aren't our grief, and it's something it's important to process. So here we go. It's entitled Rusty Regrets, Revolutionary Revisioning. Imagery triggers thoughts of what never was. What in this moment we label, name, regret. Things, people, places not experienced before now. Ruminating on what could have been, what we think in this moment we wished it had have been. Vacations, visits, awards, awareness, remuneration, rewards, choices, championships. Reading into this moment, regret of what did not occur, ruminating on impossible visions, regal thoughts made significant, rumored unaddressed hopes, rationing feels of the indefatigable undone.
Wow.
Receiving these thoughts in this moment, releasing the weighted ego, recalcitrance unabated, resurrecting hope in this moment, gifted to live this day, robing ourselves with gratitude, re-examining holy priorities, relying on God for new visions, relinquishing the need to control or fix, removing regret from the table, reckoning with new priorities, reviewing the gift of time, choices and resources, resolving to be, reassessing self, values, hopes, rejoicing God will grant the increase. So it's about living in the now, no regrets.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure.
Wow. Like you said, Dr. Cheryl, COVID, 2021 has been a death-filled 2 years. And a lot of people are going through the first or second death of a loved one. But for me, and I tell people this, you never get over it. You just learn to live with it. The pain is it's always there, but you just learn to live with the pain. And I just think it's a lost, something you can't replace.
Yeah.
That's for me. Can you speak about people maybe that are going, maybe this is their first or second holiday season without their loved ones?
Sure, I'd be happy to. And what I can say in my experience, because I lost my mic October 1st of 2011, so it's been 10 years.
Wow.
I am at a place now, I don't feel that, I of course would love for him to be here. And we had some incredible conversations. He was like my living, breathing Google before Google existed, because he had 180 IQ and he remembered everything he read.
Wow.
So I was very fortunate. And because I've processed the grief, it's not like every day when his birthday came, it's like, oh, okay, it's Mike's birthday. I posted some photos on Facebook, but it wasn't like I couldn't get out of bed. Now, those first 2 or 3 years, there were days when I'm going, okay, can I get out of bed? Can I brush my teeth? Can I breathe? And so what I found very helpful thinking about our 4 bodies, we have the mental, what we think, the emotional, what we feel, the physical, our bodies, and the spiritual. How is our soul doing? I found it helpful, number one, to talk with people who are trained in this area or other friends who wouldn't give me platitudes doing stupid STOOPID. Because a lot of times, people mean well, but they say stuff, they're in a better place. That's not helping me.
Right.
My pain. So if people don't say that, just say, I'm sending you good thoughts. I'm sending you love. I'm praying for you. Because in that moment, the loss is so great. For example, like in those first 2 months, a lot of times people are paralyzed with grief. They're like stunned. It's like they're gone, but you don't know. And you're so traumatized by that loss, especially if it's sudden. I have a couple of friends who they were with their partners and things were great, and then no sign of illness. And the next moment, and they were out of town. The next moment, bam, the person just died or didn't wake up from sleep. Right. And so, but even if we know like loved ones, like our grannies and our older relatives and stuff, even if we know they're going, it's still something about they're not being there. So we'll get ready to pick up the phone or send a text or we'll go over those things. So the first thing I think is important is to understand, number one, that grief is real and no one needs to feel guilty or bad about what they're going through.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, if we don't acknowledge it, it will affect us, because a year after my dad died, one day I'm just crying. I wasn't feeling bad, so it wasn't on an emotional level, but my physical body said, excuse me, there's some unresolved stuff you have going on. Right. It was after a while when I went, it's been a year since Dad died. So I always invite people, number one, to have a community of accountability, people who are around you who are not toxic, who you can talk to without being judged. Number two, create rituals and practices and use that grief. The grief is a fuel. And use that, whatever is, whether you like to write or you work out for the mental, for the thinking part, write it out, tape it, do some way of expressing those feelings and thoughts. Then do some sort of movement, whether it's Tai Chi or dancing, gardening, but something, again, use it as an avenue, because the grief has to go somewhere. And if we don't find a way to dispense it, we can stay stuck. And then again, there are grief therapy groups. There are a lot of books you can read. There are a lot of tapes. Maybe watch a series of movies and have a good time to cry. And some people can't cry because as children, they were beaten, told you can't cry.
Right.
And a lot of in our foolishness of patriarchy, we tell our boys, you can't cry. That's ridiculous.
Right.
Crying is healthy. So find ways to physically release, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually release. So, go to services or go to small grief therapy groups, places where you can get nutrition, grief nutrition to support you in this process. And then don't try to rush it. It will take the time it takes, because I like to think of it, if the Empire State Building, which is 34 stories tall, if that reflects as a symbol of my relationship, if I have a 34-story building, I have to have a 34 deep foundation. Right. The relationship is the building. The foundation is love. So you can't just it's not just going to go away. And so when we respect it and respect what it is, then we can process it and deal with it. And it will go away. I'm in a phenomenal place right now. I can talk about Mike. I don't have conniptions. The anniversary of his birth, the anniversary of his death. It's like, okay, I honor that.
Right.
Yeah.
So when did you know you were all right with that? I know you said the first 2 years you were, going through it a little bit. When did you know, okay, I'm okay with this, right? I'm okay with this now.
That's a great question, Chuck. I think the first time when I was like not going like a month out, oh my goodness, October 1st is coming. Probably about year 8. Year 8. And then last year and this year, it's like, in fact, I think it was this year that it was like October 3rd. I went, October 1st, the anniversary of Mike's death has passed. Okay. So it can get to that point. It takes time. And it's a lot depends upon the nature of the relationship, how long you were together.
Right.
And sometimes people don't realize it. whether it was a great relationship, which we had, or if it's a really negative one. Like some people go through horrible grief with their abuser, their perpetrator,
Right.
because the person is gone physically, but if we haven't gotten help, therapy, talk therapy, writing, whatever, to process that pain, just like you have to process the loss and the love, that can also throw you for a loop, because many people think they won't have any grief or any pain after their abuser or their molester dies. No, you can still have stuff too. So it takes a while.
Yeah,
And
that's
the other thing, Chuck, is every grief experience is different because our relationships are different. And then the loss that I had said 21 is going to be different from I'm feeling at 31 or 41, because I'm a different person. I've learned more, and I've learned what things I cannot control and what things I can fix. And some things was not mine to fix at all. So all of that factors into how the grief experience tomorrow or next year, how all that is received, and then how you process it.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, because like you said, it takes time. For some people, may take longer. You know, it may, because a lot of people say, "Oh, they still grieving." Like I hear people say that sometimes. I'm like, man, you don't know, what that person meant to that person, so you can't really know time limit. But I just was interested in you knowing that, or giving people out there hope that are going through this, to say, okay, well, wait, maybe one day, I will have that same thought, as Reverend Cheryl did. So, I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing that with me.
Sure. And it is a process. It's time. Like you said, every relationship is different. And then how I can approach my grief. So if I'm stressing because I'm taking care of kids and I got a partner who maybe is functioning, is not functioning, if I got aging parents, if I have all of that drawn on my energy, that will impinge or infringe on how much time and energy I have to deal with my grief.
Right.
So that's why it's important, just even without grief, we have to have balance. We should have some time just for whatever you want to call that higher power in your life. We need to have time to be. We're human beings, but a lot of times we act like we're human doings. And sometimes people avoid their grief by being workaholics. Every time you see them, they're running here and running there. It's like, what happens if you just stop? No radio, no cell phone, no social media. Just stop and breathe. Some people aren't in touch with their bodies because they never stop and breathe. Therefore, when one day they get up and can't get up, it's like, what's the matter with me?
Right.
Well, our bodies are really smart. Our bodies will tell us, excuse me, something's wrong. But if I'm not taking the time to listen, I'll be having to call 911 when I could have 9 months earlier, could have avoided some of that trauma had I listened to my body. So we really need to listen to our bodies and know that our thoughts create. I can create an amazing universe. I could have $2 in the bank and be living in just a shop shoot of a house. If I have peace, Chuck.
That's true.
Money can't buy my peace. So I invite folks to, what does peace feel like? Because when we have peace, that also means I'm not stressing out over stuff I can't change. I'm not stressing over the stuff I can change. I will take a look and say, okay, I want to learn how to live within my means. That means get rid of credit card debt. That means, I need to sleep. I'm staying up all hours a night I'm watching Netflix. No, maybe I need to shut all that down and get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Then I'll be clear so I can think about what are my priorities and what do I need to advance myself as a healthy, whole human being. And therefore, I can experience kindness and I can be kind to other people. And kindness doesn't cost anything. I can say, good morning, Sister Jamila, if I come into her space, or if I go to the grocery store. Good morning, Susie. Good morning, James. How are you doing? It doesn't cost. And also, when we feel good, we help others to feel good, because just like grief and sadness can be infectious, feeling good and joy is also infectious.
Awesome. I think we lost your camera somehow. I don't know what happened to your camera, but that went out. Oh, there you are. You're good now.
Okay.
That, one thing I could say about 2020, what happened with 2020, and you just talked about it, as far as making everyone slow down and really, just take the time out to just think about, or based in back. Hold on, here she is, right here. She came back. You all right, Jamila? You good?
Yeah, it was weird. It just went out, and I have my router right here. So
Okay, cool. It's the
Sorry.
one thing the 2020 did was slow everyone down, made everyone sit back and say, "Wow," or think about certain things, or what was really important to them versus, what they were doing, like you said, to hide certain pains or to, just fill their day up so they won't think about certain situations. So, again, I could say that's one positive thing that did come out of that, that situation. But again, shout out to the families that or prayers out to the family did lose people in the process because that was a big trying time, that 2020 and beyond because it's still going on in today as we speak. Every time you turn around, there's another stream or something going on. So again, it's just rough out there right now. So
Yeah. And that's one of the things I love about the serenity prayer. God grant us serenity to accept the things we cannot change. I can't change the fact that news media is always telling us all the negative and really trying to push fear. The
mhm.
courage to change the things we can. It's like, what can I do differently? And the wisdom to know the difference.
Right, right.
So the old people of my childhood would say, you got 24 hours to take care of number one.
Hmm.
And 7 or 8 of those hours I need to be sleeping. And so then I need to reassess. And this is a good time for all of us to reassess, what are my priorities? Where am I spending my time? And
Right.
if every time you talk to me, oh man, Chuck, you just don't know how bad it is. If I'm talking all the negativity, I'm going to create more negativity. I'm going to attract people who talk negative to me. If
Mhm.
I rather think about, I'm blessed. I woke up, I can brush my own teeth. I got a place to stay. I love God. I love other people. And I know people love me. If
Right.
something happened, I know that our people, I could call them right now. They'd be here on the next thing smoking to take care of me.
Mhm.
That's so much
Yeah.
gratitude. So I may have if I have an ache or pain or I have a challenge in one area or the other, if I can start with being gratitude filled,
Right.
then that will give me the space to think through, okay, I've got some challenges here. What can I do? And then I know it. Wait a minute, I'm not sure. Let me text Jamila and ask her, girl, I'm going through. You got any ideas or can we talk? And in
Mhm.
the process of talking, because we know we can trust each other,
Right.
she can say, well, Doc, have you thought about this? Or
Mhm.
let me get back to you. Or, I'm not sure what you should do, but I have every confidence you can figure it out. I'm gonna give you this friend's number. Call them, they may have some ideas.
Right. Right.
She's gonna feel better because she could contribute to me. I'm gonna feel better because I know I'm not alone.
Yeah. And you said that right. That's why it's so great. It's so important to surround yourself with people that are, positive or think, or could just uplift you because a lot of times you surround yourself, like you said, with people that are miserable, people that, they just love being miserable because there's some people out there like that. They don't feel great unless everything's going wrong or there's got to be something always wrong or this is why I feel this way. And, again, it's so important to surround yourself with those individuals that will uplift you when you need to be uplifted. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
definitely important. Hey,
Yeah.
Jamila,
But
you
they'll
all right
hold
down
you
there?
accountable too.
Yeah,
They'll
it,
hold
it
you
will.
accountable.
It will. And that's a good thing. Like I don't get it like when some people like you said as far as the accountability piece, where a lot of times people think you're not their friend if you tell them they're doing something wrong. Like you have to agree with them on everything they do. And that's just not, that's not true at all. If you're their true friend, you'll say, yo, you're wrong on this. You shouldn't do that. Not,
Right.
oh, I'm just gonna ride with you just because you're my friend. It doesn't make any sense to me. So
Exactly.
yeah.
And if they don't call you out in that way, what they may say, well, so tell me what you said you're doing again.
Right.
And then one great way to get to people is tell them a story. And
Hmm.
they'll go, oh, that's horrible. And then you can say, well, that story reminds me of what you're sharing with me.
Right, right.
Have you thought about, you do have some other options. See,
Hmm.
because some people don't know, they really don't know they have options. And I was reading a quote the other day that said, most people function out of what they've learned unconsciously in their
Right, right, right,
surroundings.
right, right.
And when they do things that is not coming from their rational mind or from any kind of critical thinking they've done, they're on a remote. And so a lot of, and that helped me to understand a lot of the insurrectionist behavior, a lot of the hate behavior. Babies are not born hating.
Nope.
Yeah.
They
Nope.
crave love. In fact, they love to be held. That's why even in a lot of the wards with crack babies, they have volunteers to hold the babies because everybody needs human touch in order to
Yeah.
thrive.
Mhm.
But if all you hear is negative, 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 I've said everybody who's 7 feet tall with green hair, they're terrible people. I hate them. I dislike them. They're out to get us.
Mm-hmm.
If that's all you hear, then every time you see a 7 foot tall person with green hair, you're not going to think that,
Right.
oh, that's a person. I don't really know that person. My family told me not to like them, but maybe my family was wrong. Most people don't go there. They just automatically assume. And that's whether it's issue of gender or race or class or the assumptions we make about people because of the jobs that they do.
Right.
You know, and so it's not, and my hope for the world is that can we start to think, can we start to train parents how to parent? Can we give elementary school teachers more support and have smaller classrooms? I was talking to someone yesterday telling me there were 45 kids in a classroom under 8 years old. That's ludicrous. Those classrooms shouldn't have more than 15 children because you got 15 different, it's not just a child, but you're dealing with a family system coming into the classroom. And so we need to be much more thoughtful in how we do life in these United States and in the world. We could change a lot of things if we could start people off with a healthier grounding in life.
Yes, indeed. Right about that.
Yeah. Dr. Cheryl, I had a question while we were talking before, and I don't know if there's any statistical data to back this up as you know of, but when death occurs, is it common that it goes into 2 or more family members within a certain period of time, or is it just my family? And I'm just wondering if there's data to prove that or not prove that.
That is a great question. I need to do some research. What I do know, because I was just talking with a friend today, and she lost her mother and then a set of twin sisters within a year's time. And I told her I knew, and the mother had been ill, and both of the twin sisters had also been ill, but they would go to the hospital and come back out again. But I just knew that once one twin passed, the other one would be pretty close to it. So, and I know from either during my teenage years, there was one of the members of our church, she was an aunt. She did have a pre-existing heart condition. Her nephew drowned, like say on a Monday, she was gone on a Wednesday. So it is not uncommon for if one family member passes that another one will go shortly thereafter. It depends upon their physical health and also the mental and emotional attachments. Because I've heard of other instances, especially when couples have been together for a long time, it's not uncommon if one will pass on a Friday, the other one Saturday or Sunday. So I'm always amazed if a couple's been together 30 plus years and that the other one lives longer. Because at that point, they're so simpatico that they can end each other's sentences. They can be in the room silent and communicating and not ever saying anything.
Wow.
So yeah, I think that happens more often than not, because that loss, it can be, because as you were saying earlier, we don't know the depths of that loss. Because that might have been the only person who they would joke with, or who they've shared some of their deepest, darkest secrets with, or that might have been the only person when all the other families said, well, you need to be this, or you need to have this profession or that profession, which they thought was lucrative. And maybe the person was talented in that area, but their heart was in another area where they could have made a contribution, maybe not making as much money, but they've been doing the work their soul must have. And I think we need to really help people do that. Yeah, we have to look at the finances, but you also have to look at the heart and the soul.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, people, it's not uncommon. I would say that. I don't know the statistics, but yeah, I've seen where several members in one family will pass within a short amount of time.
Yeah, I had 3 this year, as a matter of fact, 2 cousins and an uncle. So, you know, they say that, you know, it comes in threes. I hate to believe that, but you know, I don't like to put that out there. But yeah, that's what I was always told. And I've been other instances when I was younger, where I've seen that too, you know, in my family structure. So yeah.
And we've also seen it like in actors and athletes, people that also have notoriety. It's almost like inevitably it'll seem like 2 or 3 will pass within the same like weekend of the same couple of weeks. So and what the thing is, we know that death happens every second. For every second that we breathe, a baby was born someplace in the world, someone transitioned someplace in the world, because we have that many people in the world. I think one of my biggest hopes for people is that people not fear death. There was a sociology of religion by the name of Ernest Becker. And years ago, I think in the 70s, he wrote the book, The Fear of Death. I think if we can learn to embrace life and not fear death, because I mean, one thing we know, we may not know of what's going to happen in between the bookends. If we're born, at some point we will die.
Yes.
Exactly.
And accept that as it's a portal that we're going through. And this is to say that energy never dies, which means our spirits live on.
Right.
Yes.
And if I can say, you know what, I'm going to die, so how can I live my best life today?
Right.
Then when it comes to when I've done all the energetic things or whatever things I need to do on the planet, when it's time for me to transition, then I can celebrate because I've done my part. And to realize that we're all born with a purpose. And if we can start helping our children figure out early on, what is your purpose in life? What are your gifts and graces? How can you leave the world a better place than when you came?
Yes.
Now, your world may be, you know, it's like if you're in Manhattan, your world may be 10 blocks in both directions. You may live in a more rural area, so your world may be a town.
Right.
If you have those gifts and graces, your world may be the entire world, like saying Oprah Winfrey or Steve Jobs. So their universe is huge.
Yes.
So whether you're at that place or whether your universe is 30 square feet, if all of us do our purpose with that 30 square feet or 300,000 square feet, then we've solved our purpose. That's all we need to do.
Yes.
We can let all that stuff that people get caught up with and envy and jealous for, well, how come they ask her to be on the show and not me? Well, you want to be on the show? Get in touch with Jamila. Or get a person saying, hey, I want to be on your show, or I want to be president of my class, or I want to do this, and find out, well, what did that person do to get where they are? Rather than waste time being envious. People waste so much time envying and does nothing. That's fear. That's a call for love.
Exactly. And you know what? You said everything. That is so true. The most important thing on your tombstone is that dash in between the date you were born and the date you expired. So what did you do in between?
In between.
Did you make an impact, or you just a problem? You know what I mean? And a lot of people, they sit around and they sit there and they talk about how they complain about this or I got this. Listen, every day you get closer and closer to that expiration date.
There you go.
Bottom line is I don't have, at this point in age, I'm 51 now. At this point in age, I don't have time to deal with people that just look at everything as so negative. I have to be around people that's going to uplift me. I can't afford to be around people that are just miserable. So I have to get that negativity out of my life. And I've done that, throughout my life as I got older, because at the end of the day, it's about uplifting one another. And I think as you get older and mature, you start realizing that's what it's about. It is so much money out here to be made. And then you talk about jealousy and envy and all this other crazy stuff that everybody goes through. The crab in the barrel syndrome, all that crazy. But the bottom line,
enough for everybody.
It is so much out here to get. It's like, why are y'all worrying about if I'm in this clique or that clique? Like, expand your horizons, man. There's so much more out there in this world than just in this little inner circle a lot of times that people tend to want to deal with. And it's like, I don't have time no more. As I got older, I realized that it may sound crazy, but I used to look at the cup always half full. Now, if it's half empty, guess what? That thing is half empty. I'm not trying to say, well, maybe if we work this or we could do this or that, it might work out. It might end up being a full cup. I can't keep pouring into people or that aren't pouring back into me or giving me something. I'm not doing tick for tack, but it's just a thing where you come to me whole and then we can both work it out. You come to me half empty, you got to roll. So,
and it's a mindset,
right?
It's a mindset, it's a mentality. And, like you said, Chuck, between the birth date and the expiration date, it's a whole lot of stuff we can do.
Yeah.
And, in this world, in this information technology, internet, I mean, there's so many options. There's so many things. If you have a dream, if you want to write a book, Dr. Cheryl, how many books have you wrote and self-published? If you want to be a singer, go on YouTube, go on Instagram, live your life now. And the reason why I've always wanted to do acting and modeling. I did. After my mother died and after my brother died 6 weeks later, I was grinding. I was driving from Sacramento, you know the Bay Area, Dr. Cheryl, to LA at least once or twice a month. And when I would go on my auditions, it's like, oh yeah, I'm from Sacramento, I'm from Oakland. You drove all that way? That gave me props because they knew that I was serious. So, like you said, I think you made a point when you said, I was writing it down, that grief, it made me like, hey, life is short. Mama gone. My big brother's gone. My dad had died, a couple of years before that. It's like, hey, I got to do this. And I never looked back. I never looked back. So, yeah. Chuck, we have any comments? I was kind of going in and out. I don't know if we have any
We
comments
got
or
a few of
feedback.
them here. Yes, we
Okay.
do. We got this is Izzy Meditate. It says Facebook user. I don't know what she done did to her account, but anyway. She says, "Good afternoon, Feel Good Talk family. What's going on, Izzy?
Is it?
Thanks for tuning in. This is her again. She says, I read an article once titled, 'Can a person die from a broken heart?' There was a young lady, father passed away. She made it to the funeral, but passed on her way back home. The stress of having to deal with her father's passing. Wow.
Absolutely, a person
Yeah.
can die from a broken
Yes,
heart. The
indeed.
grief gets so, for as an amazing as the human body is, because it can regenerate and we can get well and heal from a lot of things if we just listen to our bodies and get with the right practitioners. But that grief can be so heavy.
Yeah.
And if you're shutting down and you squeezing the heart and you're not breathing and the neurons are going all off and firing. Yes, and that's not, I've heard of other stories. So absolutely, a person can die of a broken heart.
Wow. Yeah.
That's why we need to surround ourselves when those things happen with folk who can support us and realize that we have a choice. Now, as hard as it is, we have to decide, am I going to live or am I going to let that grief wear me out and just die?
Right.
And some people may feel harsh, and it may sound harsh, but it's said in love because we do have choices.
Yep.
Especially if I don't have an underlying condition, I can choose to live. And Jamila, as you were saying, if I want to become an electrician, I can go take some classes at a technology class. I can then apprentice myself to a person's electrician. Chuck, I had 70 years, so I got 34 more coming to me. And you better believe I want to use every minute doing things that I can do to affirm myself and to affirm other people. So I have no time to waste. So I'm looking at other ways to help people manage their grief and help people deal with their writing excellence. Because I know those are two ways and two places where there are a lot of people hurting. Right. And my call by God on my life in this season is to help people help themselves not hurt so much. And some people don't know that because they've grown up in dysfunctional families where you go with the flow.
Yep.
Where you steal, or you rob, or you cheat, or you defame people's character, or you always talking bad about people no matter what they do. I'm praying for a person right now.
Right.
No matter, this man has a good heart, a wonderful person, always helping people. His adopted mom is always putting him down. There's nothing he can ever do enough. So at some point, he will have to learn to choose. And I love that Don Miguel is his 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personal. So if somebody say something bad about me, that is their pain. That's not mine. Don't take it personal. Avoid assumptions. Just because you got a degree, just because you have all these things doesn't mean you are well. And then do the best I can. I tell you, those 4 agreements, my hat's off to Don Miguel Ruiz. He has a website with a bunch of blogs and things. When I learned that thing, don't take things personal, man, that will take 50 years of stress off your back right there. Right. Hurt people are going to say hurtful things. But I can go, oh, and then the other thing is you don't have to go to every fight you're invited to.
Nope.
We know it's 70 degrees outside and somebody say, Chuck, man, it's 40 degrees. Well, Chuck knows it's 70. Why? So you know what you can say? You know, you may be right. Yeah, because it's 40 degrees someplace in the world, it's 70 here. I'm not gonna have no big fight with you over
Exactly.
something
Right.
that is not that important.
Right.
They want to believe that, go right ahead.
Yep. And that's absolutely right, because I'm not gonna sit there and argue with you. I know it's 70
Mhm.
degrees, you talking about it's 40, something ain't right. But we got Izzy. She says, "Hey, September Rain, thanks for tuning in." September
Yeah.
Rain says, "Good afternoon, family. Thank you for
Hey,
this
baby.
episode. I really needed the wisdom and knowledge, especially this time of year." Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Tamu Garris in the house. What's up, brother? He says, "Hello, everyone. Thank you, Izzy, for reminding me, my brother from another mother. What's up, Chuck? What's going on, brother? Good to hear from you as always." And we got September Rain. She says, "Hey, Chuck, Queen Jamila, y'all look so classy today." Well, I mean, I got I appreciate it, but I mean, I gotta I give it to Jamila. The ladies, they looking classy. You know what I mean? Give it to the ladies. But
Thank you.
thank you. I appreciate that. And Tamu Garrett says, when my son passed away, I had plenty of thoughts of killing myself. Wow.
Oh.
Till I seek grief counseling.
Yeah.
Being in them classes with people who lost a child really helped me cope with my son's death. Hey, man, that's deep, Tay.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, man, that's, I'm glad you figured it all out and, did what you had to do, because that definitely wouldn't have solved the problem killing yourself. So,
Right.
thank you for
Mm.
that, man. Yep. And
Yeah.
give me a holler anyway, man. We need to talk. And Izzy also says, I think it's so harmful when families try to tell someone who is grieving to basically suck it up or look over their pain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's horrible, Izzy.
that's
Thank you for
ridiculous.
sharing that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
People
ridiculous.
don't know what you're feeling. And so I invite folks, just tell people, I'm sending you good thoughts. I'm holding you in prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And because you can't, I mean, no one expects to lose a child.
nope.
Mhm.
That's not the quote unquote natural order of things.
Right.
And we don't know someone else's story. It's like,
Yep.
I don't know what, I've never broken my leg. I've had foot surgery. So if
Mhm.
you've had something wrong with your foot, I can empathize. I don't know what it's like to break my leg and hope I never do. So
Right.
when people say, oh, I know just what you feel, no, you don't,
No,
unless
don't.
you
That's
walk
No.
in the
right.
exact same
Yup.
shoe.
Yup.
So
Exactly.
that's when we just need to say, you got my support. Let me help you in any way I can. And
Mhm.
so one thing people can do when grief happens, send people cards. The dollar stores have 50-cent cards all day long. Send them a card. A
Mhm.
text is fine, but do something different. Or if you
Yeah.
know they have a family, bring them a meal or a gift card,
Mhm.
Yeah.
especially after a month has passed, because by that time, all the flowers gone, unless they have a peace lily and they have a green thumb. All my peace lilies died, so everybody can grow a plant up. And
Yeah.
so, but then, at the
Right.
anniversary of the death or whatever, send little cards or text,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of you, or take them out to lunch, or,
Mhm.
do
Mhm.
tangible things to let people know we've not forgotten them as they've
Mhm.
gone through their
Yes.
grief. Come go with a walk with me.
Yeah.
Or let's go to whatever, but
Mhm.
ways of engaging them in very thoughtful ways. Let's go to a museum. Let's go to
Mhm.
listen to this music so that they know they're not alone and that they do not become consumed by
Mhm.
that grief.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And the crazy thing is, man, I'm gonna tell you, I do it out of kind of somehow. I don't do it just to do it. I mean, just to say, look at people's reactions. But you'll be surprised just opening the door for somebody and saying, "Hey, good morning, how you doing?" That would definitely that changes somebody's mindset right then and there because they're like, "Wow, this guy actually said hello, good morning." I don't really ever get that, and I needed that to pick me up because I've
Mhm.
said that to some people before or open up the door. Sometimes I'll be in line in front of them, I'll buy them a coffee and back of me and then next thing that really makes people's day, man. And I love doing
Yeah.
that because hey, one day, hey, I may need that. You know what I mean? Who knows?
Yeah.
So
And people
we
Absolutely.
need
also
the
had we said,
connection.
huh?
People need the connection.
Yes.
Like I was leaving school
Yes.
last Sunday and I
Hmm.
happened to have my collar on. So the lady stopped me. She's saying, are you a minister? I said, yeah. So I stopped and
Hmm.
talked with them. I had them laughing. Chuck, I didn't realize until about 20 years ago that I can say things that are really funny. So I was saying things they were cracking
Hmm.
up. The manager came over and he joined in. And so it took 5 minutes out of my time, but I
Yep.
left them feeling lighter.
Lighter, right?
Mm.
Exactly. Yep. Hey, we got Izzy. She says, "I'm so happy that you reached out for help." She's talking to Tamu. The world
Mhm.
needs your light. Yes, indeed, brother. And Tamu
Yeah.
says, "Izzy, yes, and it's really helping me." And he
Beautiful.
also
Good.
says, and I don't wait until someone passed to give them their flowers.
Exactly.
Amen.
brother.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I get so tired of everybody. You'll hear. First of all, you'll see the guy doing his thing, or the woman doing her thing. You never see anybody say anything. Then as soon as they pay everybody, oh, he was this or she was that. She was great. She was this. It's like, come on, y'all, stop. You're just doing that for likes now, and stuff like that. So again, definitely give your flowers to people that are here while they're here. So I definitely
Absolutely.
agree on that. So,
Yeah. Dr. Cheryl, I took some notes here. And now that we're going into the holiday season, I know you gave us some tips, but how do you just try to make new memories? Um, I miss my mom cheese pie. I don't think nobody else ever made cheese pie.
yeah, what a
Her
cheese
Germiston
pie.
chocolate cake. Oh my God, those things you miss, you'll never get it back. I know how to make a pretty good sweet potato pie and
Mm,
the dressing, but how do you just go forth during, this joyous time of the year? Everybody's full of joy. Then you're gonna go into New Year's, and we always had our black eyed peas. And how do
mhm.
you keep it going?
Wonderful question. And not everybody's going through joy. A lot of people are. And but then sometimes, what are they joyous about? They get so stressed out about buying the right present
Mm,
or showing up at the right function with the right outfit. So sometimes what looks like joy is may-like, is pretend. It's
Mm,
being caught up in the motions, but not really being grounded in love, in Naeem's words, freedom, appreciation, compassion, communication, trust, and sincerity.
mm,
So that's why I think I'd invite everyone to have a spiritual practice, whatever, however that looks, but where you start off your day being grounded.
right. Mm-hmm.
You recognize this is a season, and the biggest thing, be kind to self.
Mm,
mm,
If being kind to myself means I want to give gifts and I can afford it, fine. If I cannot give gifts, I can send words of love, I can send a card. I would really recommend, do not go into debt to give a gift that you cannot afford,
right.
because that sets us up for resentment, increasing high
mm,
blood pressure, and making life crazy when it doesn't have to be. So be kind to ourselves. Number two, we can start new traditions. If I just got to have that cheese pie or that fruit cake or that sweet potato pie or that sakatumi cake,
mhm.
tell people, you know what? I really loved my mother's sakatumi cake or 7-Up cake. Do you know someplace where I can get one? Because you may be able to
Yes.
order one online. Or if you
Right.
see it enough times, you may have a friend of a friend who, oh yeah, my auntie makes those cakes. I'll get you one. So we
Right.
have to
Mm,
ask for what we need. And so
Mm,
we
yes.
may be able to get it through friends. We may be able to order it online. If we can't get it through friends or order online, well, let's say we'll start a new tradition.
right.
Maybe
Yeah.
I never tried pound cake or this cake, so I'll try that this time and see how that feels for me. Maybe I'll go vegan for a day and see what that feels like. I would invite people to open up to some new discoveries and being curious. Well, how
Right.
do people in Asia experience Christmas? Or how do people in South Carolina do it? Or New York? Or how do people of different racial, ethnic backgrounds, what do they do? So I can let this be an adventure and discover some new traditions,
Mm,
honoring
Mm,
the old and discovering new, all the while keeping within a budget that's comfortable for me without
yes.
apology. And that may mean this Christmas, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to spend the day at home. I will
right.
order in, or I will buy and cook and make for myself. Or maybe this Christmas or this Hanukkah or whatever the season, because I think Ramadan already passed, I'm going to do something to create new memories. But the biggest thing is self-care, so that there's no resentment
Mm,
and no saying, well, I'm just shove the grief under the mat. Yeah, but when it come back, it may be tenfold.
yeah.
So be
Yeah.
in the moment, do self-care, and share with others. Say, I don't know what to do for the holidays this year. Do you have some thoughts? Do you have some
Mm,
plans? Can we do something together? But always listen to the spirit within. The spirit within will let us know, what does Chuck need to do today? What does Jamila need to do today? What does Cheryl need to do today that's going to honor the life force inside me, so that I can have peace and joy? Whatever everybody else thinking, it is not that important. It's
Mm,
what's happening over here.
That's right.
Yes.
And that
Yeah.
just answered this question because Tamu said he wanted to hear some tips. And he also said, a lady asked me how I'm doing today at the game. And I told her that I'm blessed and doing great because God woke me up this morning. So for
Mhm.
that, I am grateful. Awesome, brother.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Great answer.
Yep.
Yeah. Dr. Cheryl, how common, and this is one of my questions, and I'm glad Tamu brought it up. How common is suicide after a death of a loved one?
It happens a lot because
Mm.
people are so bereft
Yeah.
and so traumatized that they think that that level of pain they can't handle.
Right.
And that's what I realized. At first, I go, well, why would a person kill themselves?
Right.
Then I realized, because I had a dear friend who had contemplated that,
Mhm.
they were blessed because they were in a care facility at that moment, and the nurses saw the notes that they'd taken and immediately got them into a psychiatric ward and got
Wow.
them on 3 antidepressants. So one of the things is mental illness is real.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to be ashamed of. We have a strange society. We go, ooh, what's the matter with them? Ooh, they crazy. We get it when people have diabetes or have cancer or have heart issues. Well, mental illness is the same thing.
Same thing.
Unfortunately, when a certain person was president, he shut all the mental health hospitals we had in our country.
Yeah.
Now, I'm
Wow.
not saying some of them were the best, but at least we had hospitals within communities where people could go. So I would plead, we need to get our legislators, our politicians to start having more mental health facilities, prioritizing that, to have parents know if your child is acting and there's something that seems off, get them to a child psychologist, because it could be something that's behavioral.
Mhm.
It could be something inherited, because just like we inherit
Right. Yeah.
face and nose and eyes, we can inherit mental illness.
Illness.
And
Yeah.
so it's important that we recognize that and then get some help and know that, and not to be shamed about, oh, I think I want to take my life.
Mhm.
That's a call for love. That's saying, help me.
Help.
And many times we as friends and family, we need to be aware, because if we're starting to see people acting differently, like they're not showing up, or
Right.
they're spending money like crazy, they've never done that, or they're compulsively eating and compulsively drinking or drugging, those are help calls for help. So we need to see that and get people treatment and get them some help, and then walk with them and accept that that's a part of life.
Yeah. And we got Izzy. She says, my aunt passed away in 1996, and I continue to grieve every season of my life. I graduated from college, and I wish she was there. When I purchased my first home, had kids, suffered loss. I wish she was there. And she also says, every death after her just takes a piece of my heart. Hey, wow.
Izzy, we have compassion for you, and I have a suggestion, and I've found it helpful for myself, and several people that I've worked with have found it helpful. I would invite you to get in a quiet space and get some beautiful stationery and write a letter to your aunt. Everything you can think of from 1996 forward about Aunt Susie, and tell her how much, because her energy is still present. Write down how much she meant to you, what being around her did, and all the wonderful things and expressions of love, and how much you cherish that. And then I would write down all the various instances, all the birthdays, all the weddings, all the losses, all the celebrations. Just write all that out. And it may take a couple days to do it, but once you've written all that out, then accept that she's with you. Accept that you can choose to not to carry her not being there as a burden, and release all of that. You might want to then put it in the ashtray and burn it. And then after that, I would invite you to create a ceremony, a ritual, maybe with close friends or alone. I would invite with at least with a close friend, a spiritual advisor, someone, and do a ritual, maybe reading some special scripture to you, a poem, something that's meaningful for you, maybe lighting candles, and call her name and just say, you know what, beloved aunt, you are awesome and amazing in life, and even in death, you still have a strong place in my heart. Please help me, love me, and help me to release that pain and enjoy and see your presence in my life as a joy. And when you make and recognize you can make that decision to cherish her memory as a space of hope and release the space of pain. I would invite you to do an affirmation daily. I'll call her Aunt Beloved. Aunt Beloved, in life and death, you are a special presence to me. I now embrace that presence with joy.
Wow.
And say that every day until that becomes a reality. And then at some point, I promise you the pain will dissipate and you will know the love and joy, because right now I feel it's like Sisyphus carrying up that burden. You get up to the mountain and it brings you back down.
Right.
It doesn't have to.
Yes.
This is some great advice. Great advice, definitely.
Dr. Cheryl, what I do, because I've lost so many people close to me, like when I'm driving by myself, I'll talk to them. Like, Mama, guess what happened? Or I'll say, Claudia, guess what, Bosie did now, or, I just talk to them. People, like, I'm driving, people looking at me and I'm talking to myself. But that, I know they're around me, I know they're close and they still watching over me. They still caring about me. And I just have a conversation,
Yeah.
and it makes me feel good.
Absolutely. And they can hear. They really, really can. I'll never forget, might have been 5 or 6 years in, and one day the grief was hitting so heavy, I just called out. I said, Mike, this is so hard. What do I do with this grief? And I heard his voice say, use your grief to fuel your writing. And that's one of the ways that I've done it. I did, the book in 2017, Baptized Rage, Transform Grief. I got through So Can You. And so you really, they are there for us. Some traditions, they talk about the ancestors. They're there. We only have to call out and then listen and not be afraid. It's energy. We're all energy.
Right.
And for people like who fear dead bodies, a dead body can't do us anything. And the person is not the body. The body is a shell that we move in. Because how could we handle it if we were all disembodied and voices speaking? We wouldn't know, well, who's talking to me? Is that Chuck? Is that Jamila? Is that Mark? I don't know who I'm talking to. So we have these bodies which allow us to do some amazing things, creative things. And so when we drop the bodies, when we transition, the energy is still here.
Yeah.
So we don't need to fear. But again, it's the thought. Somebody told us in some place we ought to be afraid of dead bodies. So, I can't be by dead body. The body's not going to do it. What we're afraid of.
Yeah.
True.
And ghost and, all the supernatural things. But if it's your loved ones, it's all love.
Right.
They're here for you to make that grieving time a little easier,
Right.
And we got Tamu with another comment. He says, yes, just like my godson who saw his dad laid on the ground with a bullet in his head and also watched his grandma dwindle away from cancer right in front of his eyes. He was 5 when his dad passed and was 8 when his grandma passed. Till this day, he is a very angry child who's always trying to fight on whoever makes him mad. I told his mom to get him counseling, but she just ignored what I told her. I really feel bad that he's going to end up killing someone or being killed in the streets of Chester. And you know what, Tamu? I'm gonna let
Dr. Cheryl.
Dr. Cheryl. Yeah, I was gonna say Reverend Cheryl. I'm gonna let Dr. Cheryl handle that one.
Dr. Reverend.
Right. Tamu, you are right on. He needs help. Too often people think, oh, they just a child, they'll get over it. They do not get over it. So if the mother if you can spend some time with him and maybe what's helpful often is stories. If you can find a movie to help him watch where a child dealt with death, and I'm not thinking of a movie offhand, but I remember there's a wonderful movie called Fly Away Home, and the little girl's mother died in a car accident, and she all of a sudden she had to go and live with her dad, and at first they weren't communicating, but they bonded through these geese that were born, but the mother wasn't there. And so what animals do, they imprinted. So the ducks thought the little girl was their mother. And her father was a scientist and had enough resources, and so they did this project together. So Tamu, maybe since you have a relationship with your nephew, you all can work on maybe building some toys or building something together. And while you all are working together, and you'll say, little man, I get it, but he's not a man, he's still a little boy. You can say, son or nephew, I get it. No one should have to see their parent die before them.
Right.
And you saw another person you love die before you. I get it. So find ways to help him process his grief. Maybe you all can go run together or take him out in the field someplace and just let him run. Get him a punching ball and just let him punch it out. But you're right. He needs a way to dispense with that anger, because if not, it will eat him up and then he's going to retaliate. And so maybe mom, you can have her listen to this program. Sister girl, I realize you're tired and you're doing the best you can, but your son needs loving support, because the anger is like a cancer. It will eat him alive and he will retaliate. And some people are going to see that and they will just off him. Hopefully he can be in an environment, maybe his ministers, his teachers, someone needs to just hold him and give him a space to let out that rage in a physical way, in a creative way. If he likes artwork, if he likes to draw, get him some paint, let him draw. If he likes to dig holes, get him a space where he can create a garden. But he needs creative ways to channel that anger. And then it would really be great if he could have a child psychologist to work with him. If you can't get him to the psychologist, at least let him know that you care, that you feel for him, that you hear what he's going through, and spend time with him creating things so that he can find a way to channel some of that anger before it destroys him.
Yeah, that's great advice.
I want to say something to the mom too, and Dr. Cheryl kind of touched on it, but to acknowledge what he has gone through. It's a trauma.
Yes.
And mom, someone died on me when I was way old. I mean, when I was maybe in my 30s, and I spent years in therapy. Guilt, shame, I mean, all those things. So can you imagine a baby? I mean, sometimes we have to be transparent. And I've gone through some stuff. And Chuck, you know some of the things I've gone through. But in our community, you can walk to school and there's a dead body, or your cousin, brother got shot in a drive-through. It's the trauma, even in our DNA, Dr. Cheryl, from coming here,
right,
the way we came, it's in our DNA. Trauma is in our DNA, and we can't just ignore it, and especially for kids. So we are here. Tamu, I'm glad you're here. That's why we do this show. If anything we can do to help you, the baby, the mom, we want to hug on you virtually, send you some love, because that took a lot out of you to even come on here. Because I see you, on Izzy show and all Chuck shows. I've seen you, and to come on here and talk about suicide and talk about death and talk about how this little boy, needs help and he's not getting it.
Right.
That's why we're here. That's why we do the show. That's why I brought Dr. Cheryl here, so that we can heal. When you heal, I heal. When Chuck heal, we all heal. When Timu heal, we all heal together. So, and this is not just, words. Chuck know me. And, reach out. Reach out. We'll all support you.
Yeah.
And Izzy says, thank you. Dr. Cheryl, she says thank you for that. Tamu also says, I tried to ask her for custody of him because she said she doesn't know how to be a mother because his father did everything for him. She calls him ugly and says she should throw him off a bridge and kill him. One day she said, why even born your ugly, I guess, ass there. Let me speak on that. That's ridiculous. Like that is horrible. And again, like this young man needs to, like you said, Tamu needs to, be loved. And I see why he's mad. And that trauma that he did see, this makes it worse. Like what she's doing, it just, solidifies everything. Well, right. So I'm good. to just go off and do what I need to do or express myself in these ways, because he doesn't know any other way to express himself, because this is what she tells him. All this violent stuff, she want to throw him off the bridge. He's ugly. You know, those are like, that's ridiculous. Why would you say that to your own, son?
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll get custody of him, because he definitely needs to get away from her.
Yeah. She doesn't love herself.
Yeah.
And therefore, whatever joy she sees in the little guy, a lot of times if you're doing well and people don't love themselves, they want to reach out at you because you represent all the things that they wish they had, but they don't see as possibilities. So you have to move. We're praying that you can definitely get custody. And once you get custody, that get him to a child psychologist and give him lots of maybe movies or tapes and books, read to him, have him read out loud stories of overcoming, have him read stories where, people started off with a lot of things against him, but there's a movie. And again, if I can think of it, Sister Jamila, I'll pass it on to you. But it's a true story where this guy, as a young man, he was in foster systems. It was really bad. And then he was in one family, and this family had 2 kids of their own, but they treated him like dirt. They made him stay in the basement. They even had a set of rules, of negative rules about, I can't talk to people because of this or that. It was insane. And one day he was outdoors reading the book, and the neighbor realized that she saw him reading the same book over and over. So she gave him a bunch of books. And then finally a social worker took him in, and now the man has made a successful life. He has a family, and he gives back. So that he's had a rough, and this is for everyone. If we have a great start, or if we have a rough start, if we have parents who are abusive, who are nasty, who call us ugly names out of their own fear and insecurities,
that's what it is. That
does not describe who we are, and that does not seal our fate. That is a circumstance we're in now, but it is not our destiny. So I invite everyone, love on you. And if your parents can't help you, if your guardians can't help you, keep reaching out. There's got to be some teachers, some adults, some social workers somewhere. If you keep reaching out for help, somebody will say, wait a minute, I want to help this child so that that child can have a healthy future and get support.
That's right.
And
he needs to see a little bit more of the world, because he's probably in this little circle around the block, and that's about it, versus seeing the world to see really what's out there versus just in, the city itself. And he also this is Izzy. She says, yes, Jamila J. Choice, I totally agree. She's talking about when you were talking about our trauma. And Tamu Garris says, can you call me at 610-803-6407? So I'll leave that up there for a second.
And I want to add, this baby, sometimes I like to read biographies and autobiographies, but sometimes when you have gone through trauma and you come out of it, it's like God, it has his hand on you. This baby could be the next doctor. He can be the next, surgeon, lawyer. He has some kind of futures, a big, big future. And usually those are the people who go through it. Those are the people that go through the most trauma. It's like he got something to do. So you got to get him, and you got to do everything you're saying. And, we'll support you in any way and every way we can. And Dr. Cheryl, we need you to come on at least once a month, whenever your schedule will allow, because we need these conversations in our community. Who is talking about this? And, who is talking about death? Who is talking about surviving? Who's talking about trauma? We need to have these conversations.
Absolutely.
And, Chuck, I commend you for just being open and always allowing me to do crazy things. And, any ideas I have, I appreciate this. But this is conversations we need, and I just, I know we're going a little bit over, but Dr. Cheryl, you have enlightened us. You have educated us. and you have entertained us.
Yeah.
And I so appreciate it. And if you can come back, your family, I don't know how your schedules in 2020, but we want to heal together. If
Yes.
I'm healed, you're healed, Chuck healed, Tamu's healed, Izzy's healed. You know, we all want to heal together. We want to make it a better 2020 because it's not only the COVID, it's the next COVID, it's the next strand. So we're gonna be in the cycle for at least another 5 years. And we need that support.
That's right.
And it's a lot of people passing. It's a lot of people passing.
Mhm.
And I just thank you guys.
Yeah, I thank you, Jamil. Thank you for coming on, and thank you, Dr. Cheryl. You're amazing as always. Thanks for all the advice. And we got a few more comments out there. We got this is Izzy, just to let y'all know. She says, "Yes, Chuck, I agree with you, and to definitely widen his circle of friends, positive influence. Yes, because
Yes.
sometimes we get stuck in that 2 block radius of poverty, of whatever's going on there. That's all you think the world
Yeah.
is. And once you get out and to see more, you
Right.
opens up your mind and you're able to think like, wow, if these people could live like this, so can I, or
Right.
whatever. Or if this is a beautiful place, maybe I can, it opens up more avenues for you. He also
Right.
says, I'm getting emotional just talking about I'm sorry, this is Tamu, my God's son's situation. Hey man, it got me messed up
Yeah,
too when I heard that crazy
yeah,
stuff.
You
And
know,
Izzy
but that you
said,
care means you can make a difference. I was just thinking,
right.
get them a library card.
Right, right, right.
And
hmm,
see if there's a boys club nearby, because that would be a Cub Scouts, something. He needs
Yeah.
healthy interaction after talking with the people, of course, and let them know he's going through a lot of anger issues. And but
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
it's not hopeless. That to
Right.
me, that he has you mean there's hope,
Yep.
because that he has you
yes,
means
yeah,
that he's being heard, because right now
Right.
he feels no one cares, no one
Right. Right.
hears
Right.
him.
Right. And,
So you can
and,
make
and
a difference.
I mean, hey, you can even do like look ice cream day, whatever. Just take him out.
Yes,
They'll look forward to
hmm,
that every Saturday. Oh, I know
yeah,
my godfather's coming over to pick me up to get some ice cream or
yes,
whatever. We gonna go out have a good
yeah,
time, and then they look forward to that.
yeah.
Especially if
Learn
they
how to
don't.
play chess
yeah,
together.
Yeah, that too. Whatever. Yep.
Yeah.
On
yeah,
that day. Yep. And Izzy says, yes, the convos that it's okay to grieve and
Yeah.
to know that everyone grieves differently. That's right.
Yes.
That's true.
hmm,
Hey, tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a commercial break and we're gonna come right back and then we're gonna end the show. So we were
and
talking
then
about,
Dr. Chair, I want you to tell them a little bit about your book, of
yeah,
course, where
definitely,
they can get it and your contact information.
Sure. Sure.
definitely.
Thank
And we were
you.
talking about energy today, and this is the A game. This is the energy commercial. So we're gonna throw that out there. Here we go. And that is the A game, great for vitality, energy, strength, and libido. So if you want your free sample, give me a call at 302-723-2836. Again, 302-723-2836 to get your free sample of the A game. This is for men only. Can't keep it on the shelves. Definitely give it a try. And check us out on LinkedIn at Feel Good Talk. You can check us out on Facebook at Feel Good Talk, YouTube at FGT Mind, Body, Soul, and Business, Instagram at Feel.Good Talk. And you can email us at feelgoodtalk113 at gmail.com. And the website is www.feelgoodtalk.net. So definitely check us out. And we got one more comment from Temu. He says, I tried them things far as boys and girls club, but he got kicked out for punching a girl. And he also been expelled from 3 school. Wow. 3 schools. I was thinking to sign him up for boxing because then he can expose his anger in the ring. Chuck, what do you think about signing up for boxing? I think that'd
Yeah,
be a great thing because actually that'll give
mhm,
him a teach him discipline as well. And it'll give him some anger outlets to hit the bag. And also get in the ring with some guys and, you know, get some of that anger out. But these guys are skilled, so you know, they're training together, so the chance of him really hurting them like he did that girl would be slim to none. And you got responsible guys that are in the gym, so that's definitely an avenue to check it out. And Tammy also said, I really appreciate the show today. Hey, we appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for coming out, you know, being so transparent. You know, a lot of people hide that and won't really say what you said, so we definitely appreciate you on that one. So
yeah, Tamu, it's really good to get even more so. He needs a male
he does.
dental therapist. So I would look for a social worker. There's got to be some places wherever you are. I'd call them up, and a lot of times they'll have a sliding scale, and you can say, listen, we've tried everything, and his anger is going to get him killed, and he's a loving person, and he needs help. Can you help me? And you may get 30 no's. I'd start calling folks. I'd check websites. I'd Google programs for traumatized boys, programs for traumatized Black boys. And also there's a psychologist in Minnesota, Resma Manakin. I would invite you, call him up, because he may have some persons that could connect you, because he talks about trauma, and his book is My Grandmother's Hands. And so anybody interested in that, and I really appreciate it. I am Dr. Cheryl Kirk-Duggan. I love God. I love God's peeps. I love laughter. Wow. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I got to get my big girl shoes on to get up on Instagram and all those other social media, but definitely Facebook, LinkedIn. And you can email me at drcherylkd@gmail.com. That's Dr. Cheryl, K as in kangaroo, D as in David @gmail.com, and put in the subject line feel good, so I'll know where we have the connection from, and I'll get back to you within 24 hours, because I'm excited. Chuck and Jamila, I'm excited about 2022, because this is a time we can turn things around. We start with positive thoughts, and don't take anybody's crap. If it's crap and it's toxic, it's like, excuse me, I'm moving up out of here. We're going to swim with joy and laughter, and we're not going to be victims of our circumstances. Yeah, COVID is out there. Viruses have been with us forever.
Right.
COVID is just a virus on steroids. But if we give COVID all that energy, if we don't sleep, if we don't get enough relaxation and sleep, if we don't get enough hydration, we got to take care of these temples. These are sacred. Got to give up all that fast food garbage, because we putting garbage in. Every time you eat a fast food meal, I'm not going to call any names, just think about, you may as well be flushing down garbage, because that's what we're doing. Our bodies are not fit to process all that sugar, all those corn syrup salads, all that extra salt, all that fat and grease. All that stuff is going to take the same time as the other 50 times we ate it, and it's plugging arteries and doing all that. So if we're doing all that stuff, it doesn't matter how many shots we're taking. We are still compromising this temple. And also be careful of 5G, all that stuff, being exposed to all that electricity. So don't sleep near your cell phone. Plug it in another room. In fact, I turn my Wi-Fi off at night, because our bodies are not conditioned to have that much electricity. So there are things we can do to take care of these temples. These are sacred. We do that, we have a better chance. And then watch what we watch. I used to watch a lot of crime shows, because I like to see why people do what they do. I stopped watching that stuff. I don't watch a lot of it.
And CNN and
blurbs.
I don't even watch the news, you know, because I get so tired of hearing about it. Hey, we got 3 more comments, then we're going to go from here. Temu says, thank you, and I will. And Izzy says, yes, and most therapists offer virtual appointments now. Okay, that's good to know. Great to know. And Temu says, I left my number for the doctor to call me. She got it, Temu. She got it. She'll give you a call. Yup. So, hey, I had
Dr. Cheryl. Oh, I'm sorry, Chuck. Go ahead.
No, I'm good. That was great. I enjoyed it.
Your books. Where can we get your books? I know there was 2 I put on your flyer, and then maybe if it's okay, I can make a post with, you know, you went through a little fast. I have to see things visually, so I can make a post with your email, and I don't know if you have a website and everything you said, so that people can reach out to you.
Oh, that would
and where can they get your books?
Breaking Free to Write, From Fear to Finish, and Baptized Rage, Transform Grief, I Got Through, So Can You. They're both on Amazon. Just ping my name, or Breaking Free to Write or Baptized Rates Transform Grief, and they'll pop up.
Okay.
Awesome.
And I'm happy to come back on the show. I can come back on once a month because I love me some Jamila, Jay, and some Chuck.
Thank you. We love you too.
Yeah.
We love you too. We love the knowledge. We love you.
Need
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
We need you. The world needs you. Our community needs you. And then as we go into 22, you know, I'm excited. And if we can, you know, heal and get healthy, move on to 22 with you and Chuck, and, you know, just do what we do and love our people, love God, and just do the best we can. You know?
2022
and
is
not
going to
take
be a big year.
ourselves too seriously, Chuck. We got to laugh. Every day I challenge everybody. Find something to laugh at every day, because when we laugh, it helps our endocrine system. And then we know, don't sweat the small stuff. It's all small stuff. Even a death, as hard as that is, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
No.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And I laugh every day. So, you know, as you see, I'm always laughing at something or thinking about something crazy in my head. So a lot of people see me laughing. What's that? What is Chuck laughing at?
And if you can't, there's all kinds of those short clips on YouTube. And if you can't do that, now this will sound bad, but every once in a while, you know, just sit and watch people. Watching people is fascinating. Then you say, oh, that one looks like a giraffe. Oh, that one looks like a rhinoceros. Oh, there goes the elephant. And you're going to laugh. You're not judging, you're just appreciating how the creativity of the brain.
Right. There you go. Hey,
Like,
Tamu says, yes, we need each other. Yes, we do. And Izzy says we had a good laugh or feel good talk. I mean, let's talk about it the other night. Chuck probably laughed in his sleep. Yeah, that was. And Tamu says, Chuck laughed 22 hours a day. You know, man, you know,
Chuck,
always find something funny, you know, in life.
Yeah.
You got to, because you're right. Don't take stuff too serious. But we are going on tour 2022. So we're going to be in a city near you. So we coming live. We're going to have all kinds of stuff going on. So where are you at, Dr. Cheryl? I keep saying Reverend. I'm going to say Doctor. Dr. Cheryl, where are you?
It's both. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. We're in the Research Triangle. You ever sort of the middle part of the state? Mm-hmm. All
right. So we may shoot through there. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
Because I know we're going to go to Virginia first. And then from there, we're going to head back and we're going to go to the west, start heading west. So we'll probably
before you go west, if you're in Virginia, y'all got to do is hit south just a little taste and you'll be right here in North Carolina.
Okay. Yeah. That's what we'll do then. So we'll let you know. We'll come set up shop, have you on live. We'll talk about it. So we got a lot of stuff in stores. So we'll definitely let you know. And we're coming to LA too, Jamila, believe it or not.
I was just going to say, where's my tour, tour pass?
Hey,
y'all gonna go on tour, not take me. They don't even tell me about it, Dr. Cheryl.
No,
we're going on tour.
We're
really?
We're coming, we'll be there.
I can get on the plane and go to Virginia and North Carolina and New York, where we're gonna do the mixtape.
Well, see, if I see you in New York, then we can meet in New York. See, there you go.
Yeah.
We'll talk, because we doing the mixtape. We gotta go live with that. And Taylor says, the drive is 5 hours from me, so that's cool. Yeah, he's in Florida. He's down in Florida. So, and I'll be in Florida. Not this week. Not the first week of the first of January. The weekend of January. The very first weekend of January. I'll be there the second. So like the 6th or 7th, something like that. So I'll be in that area in Florida again.
In Florida?
Yeah.
Oh, so you going on tour? And I ain't gonna tell you, girl. Okay.
No, I ain't going on tour yet. I gotta go somewhere. Yeah.
So real quickly, Chuck, how can people get this link? It will be on YouTube after this airs, so that they want to. It's
on YouTube live now as we speak, so they can go on YouTube. You can go right to YouTube and pull it off of there. FGT, Mind, Body, Soul, and Business. So it's not Feel Good Talk. If you put FGT in there, Mind, Body, Soul, and Business, you don't need. As soon as you put the FGT, we pop up. You'll see Feel Good Talk.
Okay, cool.
So check that out on there, and also Facebook as well. You can take that link off of Facebook and share it as well.
All right, cool.
Okay, so everybody heard it, Dr. Cheryl. Go ahead, Chuck. Sorry. No, everybody heard it. Dr. Cheryl's gonna try to fit us into her schedule monthly, because we're healing in 22. We're gonna be all right. Yes.
Yep. Awesome.
Tamu, we got you. We all go heal together with you and that baby.
Yes, indeed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So you're not in the show, Jamila. You know how to do
All
it.
right. Again, Dr. Cheryl, thank you so much for blessing us.
Yep.
And we certainly love you.
Mhm.
Chuck, thank you for, allowing us to have this platform. And, feel good is feeling good, but we got to heal and we
Yeah,
got to keep
definitely.
it real. So
That's all a part of
thank
feeling
you.
good. You got to heal first, So.
Yeah, we got to heal.
Hmm.
And you know what? We've been doing this over a year. I don't even know our anniversary, but happy anniversary.
Yeah, happy anniversary. I know Phil Talk will be 2 years old January 13th. So
Ah,
again, what I mean, that's
so,
awesome. So we'll do something with
yeah.
that too. I'm thinking about
Oh,
having an all show where everybody comes on and we
oh,
just
that'll
all
be
talk,
fun. That'll
drop
be
off when we
fun.
have to. So it's gonna be fun. And
Yeah.
we got Tamu one last comment. He says, y'all are all awesome. And if nobody told y'all today, let me be the first to say I love y'all. Hey man, I love you too, man. You know that.
Yes.
We've been from here, from child on up. So damn
Yeah.
right. So again,
Yeah.
thanks again for that, Tamu. Appreciate you, man.
And thank you, everybody, for watching.
Yep.
We appreciate your comments. And, the interaction is so important to us. So, you ever have a question or a comment, feel free to, put it out there.
Mhm.
That's the show.
Yeah.
That's part of the show.
And if you ever want to
And
join us, come on too. You can come on as well. So let us know. I'll send you the
yeah,
link. Jump right on here.
right. Yep. So we just want to say thank you again to everybody, Chuck, Dr. Cheryl. And so, Dr. Cheryl, your family, so you know what we do when we go out. We got to do, you remember? Okay. Yeah.
There you
All
go.
right. Wait now. Hold on. Hold on. We got
You
to
got a
go.
good one though. She got me
Wait.
all
Hold
beat.
on.
I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
So, you ready?
uh,
1, 2, 3.
hey.